welcome to this video number 5, 10, 15. It's a girl, Red Rose, Urban Missionary, and I'm excited that you've been with me on this journey. I call it the journey of the faithfulness of God in my life. And before we go further, please, if you want to find out more about what this journey is about, more details, kindly go to my YouTube channel and subscribe, and don't forget to press that notification bell so that you're updated on all the videos that we'll be releasing. Apart from that, please, you do well to follow me on Facebook and liking my page, Red Rose Urban Missionary. So wow, it's been a journey, right? Like today is the 15th of August 2020, and by the grace of God, I managed to keep my words that I'm going to do 35 videos. So today I'm going to talk about a bit about my career, how my career started, my first job. In the other videos I talked about how God made a way for me, and I started working straight from high school, and I worked at the first organization for like 10 years, you know, and it's through that organization that I managed to sort of take myself to school and do one or two things, and God has been able to sort of use whatever I did to sort of promote me. Yes, so the first job that I did was under this organization called Restless Development. By then it was called SPW, that's Students Partnership Worldwide. So I finished my high school in 2003 when they came. Before I finished my high school, they came to our school and they were talking about how they needed young people to go in rural communities to talk about HIV and AIDS. And something that was unique about this organization, SPW, by then, was that they would recruit people from, it was actually the first time that they recruited young people and trained them as volunteer peer educators who were also called professional peer educators. So they would be sent to different rural schools across Central Province. So I applied. By the grace of God, I was selected. It was a very stiff competition, you know what I mean, because there were people from all walks of life. Obviously I was from, you know, the Great Matera, but you had people from Kabalanga, from university, from colleges, and so on, people that, you know, had experience in expressing themselves well, you know, and people that I think they knew exactly what they wanted to do in life. So here was I, Red Rose, you know, straight from high school, first interview, you know, very nervous, but to the glory of God, God was with me and I was selected. I was among the few, I think 32 young people in Zambia that were selected. Fast forward, we were trained and I was placed in a community called Palamedis, which is in Kapiri, where I stayed for like 8 years and I did my voluntary work. Basically, I was like a teacher teaching sexual and reproductive health to the students from grade 5 to grade 12. Yes. And it was a very good experience, but I'll talk about my experiences later. So from there, I moved on and I volunteered in Mumbwa. And I was in Mumbwa, I was sort of reaching out to more than 5 schools. My role was pretty much to build the capacity of teachers to be able to run these sexual and reproductive health classes, or comprehensive sexuality education, as they call it now. And I moved on, I became an intern, I became a trainer of trainers, and until I became staff member. So like I said, I worked for 10 years with the organization. I'll be able to share a bit about my international experience with Restless Development in my next video, so you do well to look out for that video. So yes, I wanted to say this, that first of all, I was so grateful to God that beyond my sort of imagination, God was able to give me this job that sort of kept me for 8 months. For me, I thought it was just going to be for 8 months, but God, you know, continued to extend until I worked in that organization for 10 years. And I must say that it's through that organization that I learned how to train, I learned how to facilitate, I learned how to present to different, or should I say diverse audiences, donors, you know, chiefs, councillors, MPs, students, out of school youths, you know, street kids, whoever you can think about. Like, I had an opportunity to pretty much talk to different people. And one of the things that I want to say about that is something that I still appreciate is, apart from helping me to build this amazing foundation, you know, in my career, Restless Development created this amazing environment for me to thrive. I was joining that organization with a lot of insecurities because it was my first job and I didn't know where to start from, you know. I was a bit naive, but I loved the fact that Restless Development had this supportive environment where, you know, they were excited in building the capacity of young people. And this is a skill that I learned in 2004, you know, and I've kept to date. And, you know, every time I'm working with people straight from high school, every time I'm working with people that are out of school, you know, I've never gone to school, I always think about, you know, the way Restless Development raised me. You know, they basically taught me that each and every person has untapped potential, you know, and once you create that amazing environment, you find that it's easy for them to thrive. So it's one of the things that has helped me as a leader, as a minister of the gospel, to understand that each and every person has this untapped potential. So what I do if I meet a young person right now, you know, in my career, my ministry and so on, the first thing I'll spot is the strengths and the weaknesses. And I ask God, say, so God, how do we build these strengths and how do we help, you know, minimize these weaknesses? Beyond that, Restless Development was able to give us opportunities to thrive. I remember this experience. I'll talk about it in more depth in the other video, like the first time that I had an opportunity to speak at an international conference, you know. I didn't think I was able to speak, you know, but just the fact that they told me that they selected me because they saw I had everything that they needed to represent them well, you know, that gave me the sort of the confidence to represent them well. I'll talk about that later. So all in all, Restless Development, I can write a book about Restless Development because without Restless Development, I wasn't going to be there. You know, many people say I'm an interesting trainer, I'm an interesting facilitator, and I believe that I picked up these skills from the people that used to line manage me, people from different backgrounds, Zambians, and people from around the world, thanks to Restless Development. So I also wanted to encourage the young people. I think I did the time I was talking about high school, that it's always important for you, if God opens the door for you to start working, to be, you know, to be deliberate about showcasing this exceptional attitude towards your work. Most of the time that I worked under Restless Development, I didn't work in close supervision with my supervisors, but tell you what, I worked like unto the Lord. Every time I was alone in Kapiri, in Mumbwa, across Zambia, away from Zambia, I always knew that I had God to represent, and I was always working diligently. I was always working hard. Not so that obviously I loved to please my bosses, but beyond that, I knew that God was supposed to be pleased. And what did that do? That literally expanded my experience, my capacity, and so on and so forth. And beyond that, that helped me, you know, to be availed to, you know, different opportunities that the organization had. In all my life, most of these, if not all the opportunities that I've ever had, be it the jobs, be it the international travels, it has been from hard work and the grace of God. I can't lie that I had someone who pushed for me and so on. It has always been the grace of God, and my hard work literally has, you know, spoke for me throughout my life in Restless Development. And yeah, so I think I can go on and on, but I just want to advise you to say, like, one of the things I've seen, that sometimes young people get so excited when they have a job, and you know, and then they don't, you know, work hard, and when they lose it, they start to complain. So the Bible says, to whom much is given, much is required, and he who is faithful over something small, obviously paraphrase, God will be able to entrust him or her with something big. So if you're watching me right now, and if you're not diligent in your job, if you're not hardworking, if, you know, you're doing all that you're not expected to do, I want to encourage you to start working as unto the Lord, because beyond the bosses awarding you, you will definitely grow, gain a lot of skills and experiences. Apart from that, God's favor and grace is going to be on your head. So thank you so much. See you tomorrow.